Morgan, and today I'm excited to share my thoughts on episodes 1 through 3 of the Witcher series on Netflix. I have been watching it with my significant other, and just as an FYI, I have not read the books, but I have watched Christopher Odd's playthroughs of the second and the third games. I really love the atmosphere so far. There's something about it that just conveys dark fairy tale or grim or foreboding, and I'm not sure if it's the lighting or just like the color saturation or what, but there's something just very foreboding and ominous about it. I think it really fits the world. I really love the character of Dandelion. Like, just Dandelion steals the show. And I love Yennefer's backstory because it's really amazing to see disability representation and just how having a physical visible disability would have played out in the Middle Ages, like that sort of world, because life back then was very hard. And so I think it's just realistic representation, and I love seeing that because disabled people have existed throughout all of history, and so I like seeing disability representation in that era, or just like dark fairy tale type. I know that it's not like historically accurate, but that sort of world. I like Ciri because she's not super well developed as a character yet, and so it almost feels like she's a blank slate, tabula rasa type character for the viewers to learn about the world of this universe in. So I like that so far. Geralt is, like, how do I put this? I think he's interesting. I think he's very interesting. And it's cool because in the games it's like you get to play as him and choose his choices and kind of like determine his personality, but in this it's like we don't get a lot of information about him, and I think that kind of works with like how the Witchers are supposed to be kind of like not super emotional compared to humans, and we don't get a lot of information about how they think, and so I think that works. Like, I just think his lack of emotiveness and lack of information about his motivations works. One thing I do like it with Geralt but dislike with Yen and the sorcerer is the contacts just feel very inhuman. There's something off about them compared to like other just elements on screen, and I think it might just be that they're like more vivid compared to the other just like colors, and so I think that works really well with the Witcher because he is supposed to be very inhuman. He's supposed to be like mutated, but for Yennefer and the other sorcerer it kind of just felt a little bit off. I want to talk a little bit about like one thing that I kind of liked, but also think is like super immoral. Just the way that the magic works in their world, where it's like you have to kind of like take something to make something. And it reminds me a lot of Full Metal Alchemist, and so I like their inclusion of just like fleshing out how the magic works and kind of making it not very like morally good, not like good magic. It's very much so like gray, very morally gray magic. And so I think that does create a lot of interest to the world building, and also just fits because, I don't know if we're gonna see like what goes into making a Witcher in the show, but like from the games, it's not necessarily very, how do I put this, very like good and beautiful and rainbows and sunshine and flowers. And so the way that some of the sorceresses were just like sacrificed and turned into eels, I'm like, okay, this really fits with what I know from the games of like how the world treats children. Like, it's like, wow, that fits with what I know of the universe, but it's like, oh my gosh, that is brutal. Like, morally, I don't like this, but I think world building wise it works. Okay, one thing I really don't like is Triss Marigold, because in the games, she's like a very steals the show sort of character, but in the show, she feels like a background side character, like an NPC without a lot of personality. And maybe she's like that in the books, but I don't like it. I had high expectations for this character because, like, she's one of my favorite characters in the games. But in the show, she's just, like, it feels like she doesn't have a lot of presence, a lot of personality. It feels almost like she's kind of, like, just a vector for things to happen through. And I don't like it. I'm not entirely sure if it's the actress's fault, because here's the thing. Maybe it was just poor directing. But I don't feel like the character has a lot of stage presence, and I don't like it. She feels very cardboard to me, and I don't like it because I love Triss in the games, and she has so much personality in the games. So yeah, that's like my main complaint so far. And also kind of just like, I feel like some of the characters just aren't very super fleshed out yet. Like some of the other sorceresses besides Yennifer, it's like I'm pretty sure, like, what is it, the one Fringilla, doesn't she have like a lot of personality in the games? Like, I don't know, I feel like there are some characters who it's like, I would like to see them have more personality, maybe, please? So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna get better as the show goes on. It might get worse and I might grow to hate the show. But yeah, I like the atmosphere. I would say it's less gory than Fallout. If you're looking for like a reference of how much gore there is, it is less gory than Fallout, but I'd say it's still, think Grimm fairy tale. It's gonna have some gore. So yeah. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Oh, and I also really loved, I love the exploration of racism in this show. I mean, technically, like, it's against elves, but I think it's a really interesting way of, like, exploring that, because that's something that I think people face in real life, and so I like how they're trying to explore that through, like, something that's a little bit removed from modern politics, but still is exploring and touching on just, like, how, I'd say, hurtful that racism can be. So, yeah, I hope that y'all are having a great day. Bye!